And it is time, folks. Picks and bans have begun. Obey, Eager, the NAEU doubleheader starts now, and Ra is off the table right away.
Yeah, you can imagine that Obey are going to go ahead, immediately take away any hopes of Best getting Ra. They've seen how deadly he can be on this, and I'd imagine Eager making the right decision, in my opinion, taking away that Khepri. Panalike on Khepri yesterday was playing lights out, and I think that it's a really smart choice by them, and I can probably expect Obey to choose most likely a Terra ban coming out next.
Yeah, I can. Oh, well.
Or a Zeus?
Ban, yeah, I mean, they're definitely targeting the best right now. What I want to see Eager ban would be Nike. We've seen actually Obey pick Nike in every single one of their wins. It's something Captain Swift's incredibly confident on, but we see an Odin ban, a very interesting one.
I feel like maybe Eager are probably going to be going in a different direction in these games today. I imagine that they've seen Obey being known for not wanting to go the traditional route of typical roles and gods. They tend to, you know, flex around, and they like to go for something a little bit janky.
Yeah, and that's a Terra pick.
Terra ban early on.
Terra ban early on.
That was risky, man.
We have never really seen Terra get through the picks and bans, and it's getting through even the first pick here, which is incredible.
Yeah, and you can see the crowd is pretty excited as well to see that Erlang coming out, because honestly, Terra Erlang on the side of Eager, you don't really know where that's going immediately, but we can probably take an imagination roll for what Nike is going to be going. We saw Twig on it yesterday, and I think he'll have probably a really strong performance should he choose to bring it out again today.
Captain Swig is currently undefeated on Nike. This is a great pickup for Obey. We're going to have to see if Eager have kind of a solution to that. As we see the variety here, the bread and butter, his probably most well-known character in the scene. He dominates solo lane, he dominates team fights, and it's a really solid draw from both teams so far, I would say.
Yeah, and you can tell also that there's probably a lot of comfortability coming out on the side of both teams. So there's definitely going to be a lot of individual lane clashes, I feel, due to the fact that they're on gods that they are super familiar with. And so I can see them definitely going ahead and batting it out from the get-go.
What is catching my attention here, all week we've been talking about the Xing Wei and how that factors in. Has not happened. Instead, we end up getting not another lockdown for Xing Wei, which I thought we would see early on here. What's going on?
Well, one thing I can imagine why Eager is opting to not really go for the ADC route of Xing Wei immediately, it's because Ataraxia is a player who likes to play off-meta ADCs anyway. You know, you see him on the Chiron and the Izunamis. So I feel like they would much rather see what Ataraxia is going to pull out before Zatman goes ahead and secures an ADC for himself.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen Ataraxia leaning more towards those mage ADCs this tournament, I would say.
Yes.
He's been really kind of enjoying the Chronos picks,
like
the Freya
Soul
picks.
as well.
Yeah, and Soul. So I might actually consider him picking that, especially with the Sylvanas in lane. It's a very powerful character to protect those mage ADCs.
Yeah, Sylvanas is an excellent pairing with them, like you mentioned, because of the fact that he has a lot of ability to just go ahead and apply pressure to the lane without having any issues. And so a Chronos, it's incredibly safe for them to just go ahead and get away with, you know, that early game weakness that Chronos does tend to suffer with, should he opt for that.
And I think this is the first ul we've seen at the World Championship. This is a very well-known character for Zatman. He's been playing it for years. Probably one of the best on the character with mechanics. It's a very high mechanical god. Not many Hunter players can really play it at that level.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in his chat tend to call him the Zuler, and a lot of people just in the scene in general, because he is very good at like utilizing the entire kit. And he's actually pretty much an aspiration for people on this guide. And I like the Uller pick coming out because they were probably expecting Ataraxia to go this mage ADC route. Mage ADCs have a hard time in the early game, and that's really where Uller is prospering. So overall, I think that's a really smart pickup by him.
Yeah, and I think one thing we would want to kind of see focused on is what items do these guys pick up.
Anubis!
Anubis pick.
Anubis.
No one saw this coming at the World Championship. First game
China's
of the
not
day.
on the stage, right? Like, I don't.
This is crazy.
Shout out to China.
Shout out to China. Oh my
This is
God.
an Anubis.
This is game one.
This is happening.
This is so unbelievable. All right, guys, let's just get the quick. Who you got?
EU, baby.
Oh my God.
Hey, all day with that Anubis.
You know what? I'm going to give my opinion too. Team Eager, let's go. I'm wearing blue for Eager. Guys, let's go ahead. Send it over to our casters to kick off our first game of the day. Over to you guys.
Thanks so much, Golden Boy. What? Game one of the semifinals. And you're going to draft Anubis, Cabrakan, and Ull?
Look, we all know Eager's weird and picks weird things, but game one, Anubis, they're not even waiting to pull it out. I don't know what I expected. We should have expected this from Eager.
Now, Funball, in the picks and bans, you were saying when we saw the Ull pick, that's what Eager wanted to make sure that if Ataraxia goes Freya, they can deal with it.
Yeah, Zapman knew that they were going to pick Freya. Ataraxia's been playing those mage ADCs, and the matchup's a bit rough, and Ull should win early game.
How is it rough for the Freya in that matchup?
Ulla has the damage, he has the switch stance, which gives him extra damage, and he has a stun, he has a leap, which works against the Freya.
So it looks like Eager came into this knowing exactly what was going to be planned.
No surprise there. I mean, Eager, they're the intellectual team. They know what they want to do. You can see how many different strategies they have. I'm just very surprised they went to a pocket strategy this early on. This tells me that they've still got 1 or 2 more waiting.
Yeah, I like this Cabrakan jungle.
You do?
Yeah, it feels like a QVL Fred throwback, you know?
You were saying as well, it feels like EU tank meta.
Yeah,
but then they brought
does.
Anubis out. That ain't EU tank meta, Funball.
No, that's like ranked meta or something. I have no idea what the hell
It's
that was.
NA meta, that's what we can call it right now. Start of the game though, early wards placed down by both teams. Just keep an eye on your map about what's gonna happen here. We're gonna group it on the left-hand side from Eager. 4 members strong right now, potentially looking for the invade onto the red buff on this side. And it looks like Obey have sniffed that out a little bit.
But so is Divios. He's going on to this right-hand side. He's got the Wrath. Looks like he's going to steal this away with his own. On the left-hand side, it's Zapman soloing the boars, while the rest of Eager steal the red buff. And where are they going?
They're going between the 2 towers in mid, and they're going to proxy farm the wave. And Pretty Prime's like, guys, there is 3 men running between the tier 1 and tier 2 tower. Now Devios joins them too, and they're going to steal the speed as well.
Unbelievable. So the Anubis pick makes sense right now because there's no mage with better level 1 clear than Anubis. So you can see that's exactly why they drafted this. Eager coming in prepared.
And the tanks as well. This is why they've got such a tanky lineup. So they can proxy farm these waves and not take too much damage.
Yeah, I've heard of this tank advanced strats meta, and Eager is definitely the one to pull out these type of strats.
We got a bit of a mound murder in the jungle already. 3 on 3, 4 on 3, I should say. Obey with the man advantage there, with Panda like still being on this side, and Terra still in the solo lane. Still no kills, however, but there is about a 200 gold lead so far.
No kills, but you can see Obey use Purification on Pretty Prime and the shell there from Panda-like, as well as the fact that it was Aurora coming in with a big 2-man pin, making sure that disengage was clean for Eager.
We also see Obey have started with what we've seen from them before, with the multiple early boots full build strategy. Not as many this time round though, just on the Freya and on Captain Twig in the jungle.
So I want to talk about this Ulla pick. He had the Death Stall and he has the boots. He didn't opt for the trends. He wants to go for the early boots, get more movement speed. Ataraxia went for the Shoes of Focus, which he's been going this entire LAN. And other people have been picked it up. I'm not sure if Zapman wanted to go for that. I feel like he wants to get boots and might go into trends after that.
And you can see that he's been focusing on poking out Ataraxia. He's already half health. He's got no pots available to him. Sure, a little bit of lifesteal in Freya's kit, but not enough to get him from that low.
Keep an eye on DJ on your mini-map there. There's a Cabrakan on that left-hand side that's been there a long time. And with Zapman going in now, Ataraxia's in trouble. And Eager will get first blood in this semi-final.
That's the danger. You have the extra movement speed, but it doesn't matter. Just too low health. Not only do you get the first blood, but the purification as well. Now Ataraxia has to play passively for the next 2.5 minutes.
And now Captain Twig has to rotate over here as well. DJ spent a long time though, Funballer, but that's very risky to really do.
No, that's definitely worth it for Zapman. Zapman wants to get ahead in this lane. They want to keep the Freya down. Even though Zapman's not going for the Transcendence, he's still going to get the full boots, going to get the extra damage, going to go for the kills.
And that's extra good because Ataraxia hasn't gone for that starter item. So the fact that Zapman's going to get those boots online so early and then still have that starter item boon later on.
So the Freya, when she doesn't go a starter item, for example, like Soulstone or Vampiric, she doesn't get the sustain in the lane, which, you know, it's a Freya. You need the sustain. And against Ola or a hard carry like Anher, you need sustain.
The early game ones, basically talking about the early game hunts as well. He's been punished for that now, Ataraxia. Eager well aware of what was going on. Both supports about to hit level 5, or a couple of people off the pull from Panda like they're not going to find its mark onto Aurora. But Twig going into the enemy jungle here, looking towards the speed.
Gonna get some solid poke onto Aurora, but the speed buff is the focus here for Obey. You can see Twig has that Wrath available, not gonna need it in order to steal away that speed buff.
And now they're going to head over to the blue as well. No response from Eager here. Ataraxi, meanwhile, will secure his own red for his team, though. So Eager's start here, though it looks very fancy with the proxy farm and the wave, they've not managed to re-secure on the next time round and still lost some of their jungle, too.
Not going to be able to keep up that aggression, and that's what this composition is really built around. These tank comps are very, very good in the early to mid game before you can really get enough protection online to mitigate that base damage that they have.
Well, Zapman there, you saw him on your screen. He saw Ataraxi place that ward down in the jungle, so the pings came out as well.
Yeah, and when you play Freya and you have this type of you can't get out of, you can't
Sat there.
yeah, you can't go forward.
Yeah.
It's so rough.
Hello, hello, hello. Eager's doing a Gold Fury. Was there a Gold Fury there?
Not for long, there wasn't. Only for about 4 minutes and 20 seconds, because as soon as it got started up, it gets melted and so much objective control. A lot of ults used, though, there by Eager. Would like to see Obey try and take the initiative.
Yeah, Obey have been going for these early Gold Furies, and maybe that's why they picked the Anubis, you know, with
Counter
the hugs. Yeah, so they can counter it, they can get the Fire Giant, the Gold Fury themselves earlier.
Well, 1,300 gold lead right now in favor of Team Eager, the North American #1 seed. And Zapman going aggressive on Atarax. He's got to be respectful, though, as Twig is still hanging around as they look towards this red.
The plan there was for Ataraxia to bait himself for the gank, but it was DJ Pernicus hanging up Captain Twig in that jungle. Couldn't allow him to get there. So all that happens is Zapman gets a big advantage in lane.
Well, red buff is dropped down the left-hand side there for now. Zapman recognizing Panda like he's still on this side as Captain Twig rotates towards the mid lane at the moment. The pole still not found a home from Panda like, and I believe that's the third one I've seen so far that he's not managed to connect.
But once he does, there's a lot of targets that are really, really solid for him to find. Obviously, the Anubis is the priority one. If you could see him using Plague of Locusts in lane, using it to clear the wave, you can pull him out of the wave. He's very stationary. And without the purification, he'll have the Sanctuary to immune the Kraken, but he still has no mobility to get away afterwards.
But we haven't seen much of this Anubis in the entire game. We saw the proxy farm and then we saw the Gold Fury. Aside from that, I think he's just going to wait until mid towards late game, get double lifesteal, and look for those objectives.
Well, we've not seen much Cabrakan in the jungle for quite a while here, but DJ Pernicus has pulled it out for this game. And to be fair, he's going to be like a train in this jungle too, because when Terra uses that blessing, he's going to be going at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and it's going to be very hard to stop.
So much extra movement speed. It's just going to be preposterous. And I like this Cabrakan pick for another reason, and that's the fact that it has so many interruption options for the Nike on the other side for Captain Twig. You've got 2 different stuns in your kit without even using your ultimate, plus the lockdown for characters like Poseidon, like Sylvanas, that aren't going to be able to get out of those walls created by the Cabrakan ultimate.
I'm pretty prime here. We're looking at him at the moment on the Poseidon that we just mentioned. It is a big composition from Eager. Hold that fort, a pull on a roar does hit, but round the right-hand side, Devios has turned up with a blessing, and Eager may try and turn this one round. The walls are down, and DJ's got Panda pinned. The Kraken hits 3. Not a whole lot of damage, however, and the Roar's looking for a big taunt there, but they're being pushed back. The laser ultimate from the Anubis comes out, but Variety turns up Rig. The law is here, and 1 kill, the way of Obey.
The shell was beautiful from DJ Pernicus, but it just didn't last long enough. You have the shell, you can take 1 3-man Kraken, but how about a 4-man Sylvanas ult? Just way too much grouping there from Eager.
They need to focus this Anubis, make sure he's behind. If he's behind, he's going to be absolutely useless, and if he's useless, it's going to be a 4v5.
4v5 for most of the game. I was going to say that, you know, with the draft of Poseidon here, I don't think that they would have liked this, but with how many melee or close-range gods that Eager have drafted, the Kraken comes into play a lot, as well as those Whirlpools.
Exactly, and when you can see that right there, Bass was using his ultimate. He didn't get Kraken at that moment, but that's something we could definitely see in the mid to later game stages. If Bass is using his ultimate while Pretty Prime has Kraken up, he's a free target.
Yeah, and Best will have to cancel his ultimate, he'll cancel all of his ultimate damage, which in turn, you know, he's not going to have the damage to output into the enemy team.
And normally at the start of the game, we like to talk about matchups overall, and we've not really had chance just yet, but when you look at these 2 teams on paper, the solo laners, Devios versus Variety. Both of them playing Kamazots, playing Ratatoska, bringing things to the lane that we don't see too often, and both having very good years for themselves.
Variety has changed his god pool compared to what it used to be. He used to be the tier
Raw
player,
Chunga.
the Raw Chunga, and then he brought in the Ymir after that, and now he's bringing in the Kamazots and the Ratatoska.
And meanwhile, I mean, you've got Devios over there, who once again, he always reinvents himself and has fantastic lands.
And this Terra pick is not meant to succeed at this moment in time. You can see he's already lost his tower. He's down about a level and a half, and that's exactly what Variety needs to do, is punish this early game where Terra can't clear the wave.
If you go a Terra solo, you want to fight at that mid game and the late game. That's what we used to do. That's why we let Zaylee used to pick it. And with the Cabrakan, it's going to allow more sustain in the team fights.
I'm talking more. I mean, we've got DJ Pernicus, who we spoke about on the Cabrakan, and obviously Captain Twig on the Nike in the jungle. Both these two are very similar styles of junglers in a lot of ways. They will give up a lot for the team, play supportive junglers to make sure their carries get ahead.
What other jungler gets shell for their team besides Captain Twig or DJ Pernicus? They're the only two, basically, and you're right. They're very, very similar in their play styles, and these are definitely not your traditional assassins, but they both bring something else to the table. DJ Pernicus is going to be frontlining here, while Tara can be in the back healing up the carries, as well as having that lockdown potential, while Twig is there to be the initiator. Sylvanas, not the greatest initiation. You're not going to be able to, especially if Panda isn't able to go blink, so they're going to need someone else to initiate, and that'll be Captain Twig's job.
And we normally talk comparisons, and by that point we would have stopped about the teams and how close they were to each other. But then you've got the best and Pretty Prime in mid lane. Both powerhouses, both who come up big for their team, and they are hard carries, both of them.
Absolutely, two of the best mid laners in the world. Very similar styles. Both play conservatively most of the time. You'll see both of them very far back in the team fights. They're very patient with their ultimates. They're not trying to get picked off. Now, Best in the series with China his positioning wasn't quite on point, but I fully expect him to be very wary of his positioning, especially on a character like Anubis.
Well, Eager just started playing yesterday. They went directly to the quarterfinals, and that's because they were first seed.
Exactly.
So maybe that was them warming up on the
warm-up
stage.
land jetting.
Yeah.
And talking about warm-up land jets, I mean, Funballer, you're on the stage right now. You were here last year. You played Enemy in the semi-final. And, well, let's hold that for a second, because this Golfier's just started up.
Teleport in from Variety, but he doesn't have the Wrath. He's got the Blink. It's going to be a fight. Aurora coming in with the Blink, but a huge backup.
Kraken as well, onto 3 targets. Eager still stand, however. The heals are really important for the Lawbringer and Ataraxia. The laser ultimate from the Best is not good enough. And Obey gets 2 kills for no deaths.
Not just, again, too much grouping for Eager. Now Gold Fury started up by Obey after picking off 2 DJ Pernicus and Best. Only Zapman is here full health.
No Wraths available for the boys of Eager to stop this now. And that pull from Panda will slow them down, but Zapman is here. And he's trying to push them down, full health. Zap may get one in response. The Gold Fury's gone, but Obey still stands, and Aurora's gonna fall instead.
No way, Zapman's still running for his life, gets slowed out by Ataraxia. Variety not letting Divios go quite yet, gonna give up the chase and knock down that obelisk. That looks like some Season 1 Zapman there, jumping into 4 people.
I was gonna say, Funball, you're a hunter as well, right? But when you get to that Gold Fury, you're full health, full mana, you're in a good position. You look at them, you're like, tasty treats everywhere. Who do I pick? How difficult is that?
Zapman's one of those players where he'll ride on his, motivation.
Momentum.
Yeah, and his momentum. And I'm one of those people as well. I'd be like, you know what? Let's just go in. Let's just, hell yeah, I'm ready to go in.
Well, it didn't work out for Eager that time round, though. So the first Gold Fury went to Eager. Second one to Obey here. You can see the goal differential between the two now. It's around 2,000 roughly now, 2,300. And the laugh spams have begun from Obey.
That's when you know he's really confident.
He's confident now, he's feeling himself.
And that's not even Panda-like. I mean, Panda-like's the real one who's gonna stand there and clap in front of you. He was telling me that he thinks that we did a little something to his client and didn't allow any clap animations onto him.
Really?
He's very upset about it.
Well,
did we really do that, though?
I don't know.
I hope so.
That'd be funny if we did.
4-1 right now, and Obey come back into this one after Eager's start was very, very strong early on. Still dancing around this left-hand side of the map, though.
So going back to that Gold Fury engagement, it was, again, Eager grouping up a little bit too much. Oh, Zapman in trouble on the left-hand side.
Zapman is going to run for his life. Ataraxia's going to pick him up, but he might be in trouble instead. Scratched out the boys of Eager. They want the tree instead, but the tree, it moves a little bit quicker than you'd expect.
Just too tanky right now, stacking that magical protection, and once Zapman's dead, that's really the only physical damage you have to worry about on the side of Eager. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, it's Pretty Prime and Captain Twig knocking down this Tier 1 tower. Obey looking very, very strong here early on.
Now we're going to find the left-hand side. Great play from Aurora. The Best trying to follow up, but the Best was a little bit late to try and join in there. Not sure he expected that much of a combination from Aurora.
But Aurora was able to get both relics out from that. Divio's getting eaten by the Kraken, completely destroyed by Pretty Prime.
And over here still Captain Twig, banish onto Cabrakan. DJ pushed into the pit where the ball spawned, and the Whirlpool will claim another life. Pretty Prime with a double kill. Obey 7-1.
Uh-oh, Best stuck in the tower, though Aurora and Zapman have come to support. Grouping from a variety on the backside, missed the Blink Fearless, but Best taking so much damage already.
And the Best will fall to Variety as well, but Zapman and Aurora are getting him low, and Zap will get one life. Back to the tower he goes, tries to pick his opportunity. Gotta respect the Fearless from Variety, but support Aurora as well. He wants Ataraxia, but Variety's still here. Panda likes to. Zapman doesn't care though. Zapman's at Worlds, and he's trying to make this work for his team right now.
It's the duo lane from Eager just brawling in the jungle. Zapman finds two. Aurora's gonna pick up Variety as well.
And the crowd explodes. Pretty Prime leaps away with his tail between his legs. And now Eager have a chance to get some potential towers back themselves, or maybe strip some jungle.
Zapman is just putting the team on his back right now. This is his time, his first semifinals ever at Worlds. He's 4-1-1, been a part of every kill from Eager.
Fumble, you said it yourself. He's a momentum-based character, Zapman, and right there, he's feeling this crowd on his back with him, joining him.
Dude, I don't know what just happened there.
You don't?
That man just turned up. He's gonna carry this, I believe.
Aurora though, find the jungle again. Twig had an opportunity on Aurora there, but a good ultimate from him will keep him standing for now. 8-5 at only 14 minutes in the game.
But that ultimate from Erlong Chen has been a big part of the setup for Team Eager. We saw it on the left-hand side there earlier on in that very extended engagement. So the fact that that's on cooldown for a significant period of time hurts Eager's engage.
I feel like Obey played that he played it way too long, and they should have just backed off as soon as they got 2 picks and just left the tower, you know?
Yeah.
They should just recalled. They got the gold. I mean, they
Well,
got
they got tier 1 tower in mid as well.
Yeah.
And it just felt like they kind of tried to keep fighting there, and Eager punished them for it.
Well, so despite Zapman's great position in this game, I'm looking at Pretty Prime. He is 2-0-5, level 15 already. We saw how much damage the Kraken did to Divios. Divios has no magical protection right now. That needs to be the target for Pretty Prime.
Prime's laughing
Krakens.
on camera. You can see him down there just smiling away. The Obey boys just seem so relaxed and comfortable. I've never seen them like that. Very, very strange.
Very, very good sign for them. This is you got a lot of veterans on this squad though. Pretty Prime, Ataraxia, Season 1 Worlds runners-up. They've been here before. They know what to do.
Well, it looks like Zapman's put a target on his back a little bit longer now because there's more members of it now grouping up on this left-hand side. The balls spawn, the balls are going to get dropped down in favor of Obey. They would like that tier 1 tower, it seems, as well as the Gold Fury is available.
This next Gold Fury is going to be key. Captain Twig jumping in onto Aurora. Pull onto Zapman though.
And the route is good too, but the Best has to deal with Twig in his face. Great talk from Aurora to keep his team alive for now, but the Kraken removes Aurora from the map.
Zapman's going to fall as well. Ataraxia able to pick him up. Obey gonna have to punch through these walls from Kabrakan, but 2 kills already.
And DJ trying to flank around the back here to join his team under the tier 2 tower, but Obey still 5 members strong and heading towards the Gold Fury.
Again, it's Pretty Prime just coming up huge. Variety trying to zone everyone else away. 3 members of Eager here trying to contest this Gold Fury.
Let's have a listen in to Obey as they look at the Gold Fury.
They're giving enough, it looks like. Push left, push left.
That job.
I'm gonna hold him. I can go for a back.
Yeah. I can get slow. I can get
DJ's gonna be in right jungle, I guess. Wait, Harry, please.
Don't push it down.
Get this way.
Push it, boys.
I'm gonna defend blue. Alright, we've got a second massive.
So comms are still pretty calm between the boys there, as you'd expect. You know, the game's not over by any stretch of the imagination. How did you sound to you, Fumbo?
I think they sound perfectly fine. I think they're not taking this game too over. They don't want to make it feel like they're going to win this game with overconfidence.
This is only game 1, Funball, and a best of 5, and so they know that they're in for the long haul. Just being able to try and keep composed, because even though you win this game so heavily, this is very clear to me that Eager, like I said, this is not their only strategy. If they were able to they were willing to put this out game 1, they've got something else in their back pocket. This is clear to me so far that it hasn't worked, and I expect Eager to kind of take that as well.
And going back to that Anubis, I've not really seen much from that Anubis.
It's not worked, has it? No. I mean, he's tried to be in the position. Aurora has set up the Best a couple of times here for him to really shine, but we've not really seen it go off so far. It looks like Obey have been able to just play around it for the most part.
Very much so. Now Aurora in a ton of trouble. Kraken comes out immediately into the pull from Panda Light.
And then another ultimate on top of that, but still the turtle will stand for now, drawing a lot of attention until Variety's Fearless will clean up the support player for Eager.
2 ultimates used, but that's a ton of pressure. Aurora down for 30 seconds. tier 2 tower being looked at. The problem is that Obey doesn't have a physical hunter. They don't have that tower pusher. They need to get at least one more pick if they want this tower.
They do have Frey and Poseidon, though, for the auto attack.
Around the back comes Twig right now. Form an ultimate from him. And already Devios is dead. Next on the list, the Fearless from Variety removes Zapman's Purification as the best Pulsar Prime again. Next on the list is DJ Pernicus. And Variety still looking at Zapman once more.
Sanctuary used one last shot, immune, as he's gonna get out. Now Ataraxia boxing a roar in the Titan room. Variety tagging this Phoenix up for his Hunter. I don't think he's gonna be able to save his life though.
Oh, I think they both went too deep here, but the boys of Eager gonna be careful, because here comes Captain Twig again, and Panda-like as well.
Oh, Zapman just able to jump out, has the Wisp, but not gonna be able to fall. Just able to save the life, but the tier 2 tower, meanwhile, falls down in the middle lane as well as about half health on that middle Phoenix. It's Obey just playing so well as a team.
So did you see that team synergy where Variety held the Phoenix?
Held the tower damage, yeah.
And Ataraxia went forward and just waited. And then he went back in with 100 HP.
To Fearless,
yeah,
to peel for his teammate and potentially find a kill.
That's the difference between them at regionals and them now. I think they have a chance to beat NRG if they go towards the finals, and NRG do.
Well, right now they're still going to get down Eager just yet, Funball. It's only game 1 so far. It's a best of 5 here between these two teams. It's going to be exciting as the Fire Giant is now the location where both teams will probably start to dance.
It's still so early on in the game though. We're just about to hit the 20-minute mark. There's just been so much action that it doesn't feel like it. We've had almost a kill a minute at this point.
But that's been Worlds this year. I mean, Worlds has been a lot more fast-paced. Most games around no longer than 30 minutes for most of them, unless you look at the oddball games that have gone a little bit deeper.
And that's exactly what you're seeing here yet again. A bunch of level 19s, and this lead for Obey is going to get even bigger as soon as a couple players from Obey do ding that level 20. Path to victory passive will be complete for Nike, and so Obey's gonna get even stronger.
Panda's looking for a pull, not gonna find it that time, but Twig still round the back here, goes into 3. Ult as well, asks the question from Zapman, but right now, it's Obey with all the answers. Ataraxia's prayer is just pumping out the pulse damage as Krakens connect time and time again. Eager are forced back to their own base.
Eager just has no answer. Aurora gonna be the next to fall. Pretty Prime picks up his 6th kill of the game already. Obey just running through Eager right now.
And is this down to composition now, Funball? Because when you look at on paper, Eager's comments like, that'll work, but I feel Obey's is better as the game goes on, especially with a Freya.
Yeah, and the Freya pick was really great. I think it's good into the Anubis and the Kabrak in that tanky matchup.
Okay. But even though he had to pick it to a counter matchup against Ull as well.
For me, it was the fact that Variety dominated that lane. Divios never was even or ahead. He was always slightly behind, and Pretty Prime did such a great job farming, putting himself ahead, and then really abusing these immobile characters like Terra and like Anubis.
Yeah, it feels like this Terra has not done much at all in this game. He got dominated by Variety in the solo lane, and we don't often see that from the Devios.
No. I mean, it is Terra, though, and the Terra wave play is pretty good for the most part, but what exactly can you do in the lane against Tyr? You're just going to farm up pretty much. You can't out-sustain him. You can just equal-sustain him.
The pillars on Terra, he doesn't get knocked back from the Tyr Fearless. And Terra's play with the 2 is actually decent in the lane, especially if you use your dash into
the walls.
Monoliths, yeah.
You can also kind of play around it, and you can block Tyr's Fearless by placing an obelisk right in front of the wave, but Variety is the most experienced Tyr player in the world, you could say, so I don't think that you're going to catch him with something like that in lane. Variety absolutely just did whatever he wanted on the right side of the map and allowed Pretty Prime to get so much farm in the middle lane.
Well, both these teams formed at the start of this year. 2 players on these teams, actually, the Hunters, both came here last year as analysts and commentators to bring us their thoughts. And from that, they built these teams and are now finding themselves on the verge of the finals. But right now, it's Obey with the advantage here.
Pushing down this left-hand side, 5 members with Fire Giant for still a long period of time. Oh, about 2.5 minutes still to go on this Fire Giant buff.
And only Phoenix is remaining. Still in the mid lane is Variety. A Vanish comes out very early on as Twig goes to the back line again. The taunt from Aurora only hits Panda-like, but the Kraken from Prime hits 3. Still alive, however, is Aurora escaping with his life. The Phoenix is only at half.
Again, the tower damage just isn't there from Obey. Eager's holding for now. Nice 2-man stun there from Divios, but he's caught in the whirlpool.
And Divios is going to get leapt on by Twig again. but the best is there this time. Not enough to kill Twig, as DJ does fall.
As does the left-hand Phoenix. 5 members still healthy. Obey thought about the Titan, it looks like. Then they got a little bit smarter going for the middle.
All over the wall from Panda Light. Did onto the best, gonna force that Sanctuary. Middle Phoenix falls down, and once again, Obey go back in. Ataraxia is having a great game right now, as the best has fallen as well.
So much damage from Ataraxia there. Divios falls, Aurora falls as well. Obey coming up big in game 1, looking dominant against the North American Eagle.
Europe will claim first blood in the semi-finals, but it's only one game, boys and girls. You're gonna win a marathon first of all, and Fumble.